Jay here from Impact Strength Performance, and over the last few days we've had a lot of questions about our Slim and Lean at 36 program. Now, something that came up again and again and again is always about diet or about nutrition. Now, what I want to cover is maybe there's a few principles or a few laws when it comes to nutrition that if you follow, you're going to get results no matter what. So it's not really important necessarily what nutrition program you're on or what maybe diet you're following once you follow these rules. So I'm going to run through them. So the first thing that we've got to think about is going to be energy balance. The second thing is nutrient density. The third thing is going to come down to health, body composition and performance and how you marry those three things together. The fourth thing then is going to be an honest outcome based approach, and then the last thing is going to be sustainable. And when we say sustainable, we mean sustainable for you. So what's sustainable for me and another person and yourself is not all going to be the same. So you've got to decide what you're willing to give up or what you're willing to put in order to make your nutrition protocol work for you. So guys, the first thing is going to be energy balance. So when we're talking about energy balance, there's kind of three states that you can kind of be in. The first one is a balanced state where your calories coming in and your calories going out are more or less the same. Your body weight is going to more or less stay. You might have slight fluctuations on a daily basis, but over the course of a week or a month, you're going to stay the same weight. The second one is when there's more calories coming into the system than energy expenditure, and in that case, generally you're going to put on weight. And then the last thing is, I suppose, a situation where you've got more energy or more calories leaving the system than what's coming in. In that case, you're going to lose weight. Now, a lot of people, when they're coming into the gym, they think to themselves, I want to lose weight. So that's something to think about. The next thing then, guys, is nutrient density. So when we say nutrient density, it's basically the energy and the nutrients stored within any particular food type. So if you think of a Mars bar, it's got about 260 calories and it weighs about 58 grams. So your average apple, a medium-sized apple, is about 80 calories. So you're going to have about 3 1/4 apples to make up one Mars bar. Now everybody knows that, you know, you're not going to sit down and eat three apples. Most people won't in one sitting, but it's easy enough to slug down a Mars bar and a can of Coke. So a lot of times people will kind of tell us when we show them what we'd like them to eat is, I've never ate so much food in my life, you know, I can't lose weight if I eat this amount of food, and yet they do lose weight and they look better at the end of training. So think about this, that, you know, it's not necessarily the quantity of food that you eat, it's the nutrients within that food and it's the calories stored within that food. The next thing then, guys, is going to be about health, body composition and performance. So one thing just to keep in mind, that if you want extremes of any one of these three things, it's going to detract and take away from the other things. So if somebody comes in and their goal is performance, whether it was, I want to lose as much body fat as possible, let's say if you were a physique competitor, or you want to bench press as much weight as possible, like let's say for a power lifter, it's going to detract from potentially your body composition. It's going to detract from your health. So for a lot of people, they want a balance. So you've got to kind of think then to yourself, you know, if you want a six-pack and you want veins running through your body, or if you just want to be slim and toned and lean, you've got to have these things balanced up and you've got to have the right nutrition protocol for that. The next thing then to think about is kind of, when you set a goal, it's got to be outcome based. So if I was to sit down and say to somebody, you know, somebody comes into the gym and they say, I've got 2 or 3 stone to lose, and we're going to say, we're going to try and do this over the course of 6 months or a year. We know that if they come to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and their training is consistent and they eat consistently, you know, maybe they fluctuate off the plan 10% of the time. But we know then the other 90% of the time, or 9 meals out of 10, they're going to hit perfectly. There's a certain consistency there, and the outcome then is going to be desirable for them. So we want to think about, you know, first you want to set out what do you want to get, So in this particular example, it's weight loss. Then we need some sort of specific, measurable and achievable measures to kind of see if we go in the right direction. So whether we do circumference, whether we stand on the scales, whether we do body composition. Then we need a certain means or methodology to get you there. So in our particular case, it's going to be resistance training, nutrition, and metabolic training combined together in a program. And then we've got to monitor those results. So again, you know, maybe we do circumference measurements and we say, are we going the right direction? As the program that we've put together giving us the desired result? And if not, what we'll do is we'll adjust things and modify them just to make small little tweaks in order to get the person closer to whatever the goal is. So that's kind of that covered in a nutshell. And then the last thing, guys, it's got to be sustainable. So anybody can follow, you know, a crazy diet for maybe 4 weeks or, you know, 30 days or whatever the case may be, but it's not going to be sustainable for your life. So again, there's no problem. You've got your wedding coming up, you're going on holidays, and you follow, you know, a diet that's somewhat restrictive. That's okay. We're okay with that. But if you know in your head that, listen, I'm going to come back to something that's a little bit more leveled out and a little bit more sustainable in the future. And again, for somebody who has more long-term goals, you know, if your goal is health, or if you want to lose weight sustainably over a period of time, whatever protocol you pick, or whatever protocol you choose, you've got to be able to gradually chip away at that, because there's nothing worse than when somebody comes into the gym all guns blazing. You know, they lose loads of weight, but at the same time, maybe they're doing stuff that's not sustainable for them. They burn themselves out, they leave the gym, or, you know, even if they weren't going to the gym, they stop whatever diet or nutrition program they're doing, put weight back on, and then you got this cyclical effect going over and over, back and forward, back and forward. And lastly, guys, you've got to think about the environment. So it's the environment that you put yourself in, whether it's friends or family, and it's the environment that you train in, which is hugely important to getting you closer to your results. So if I was to say to you, you know, I'm going to boil a kettle of water, pour that water into a cup. If I drop ice into that cup, it's going to evaporate and it's going to take the temperature of the water down. If I throw a goldfish, poor goldfish, if that gets dropped into the cup, the goldfish is going to die. It's not going to be good for the goldfish. If I grind up some coffee beans, throw them into that cup, I'm going to have a lovely cup of coffee. So the basic point that I'm trying to say here is that, you know, whatever situation you're in, wherever you want to go to, the environment that you choose to take that journey in is sometimes more important than what you do. And I suppose the big thing that we want to get to here is, if any of this resonates with you, and if you want help in any way, either contact us directly or drop a message in the box below, in the comment section down below, and we'll answer your questions, guys. See you again next week.